We are using one of the celebration items today, the Darling Donkeys. They're so cute, aren't they? Okay, so let me give you the measurements of the paper. There's a lot here. Misty Moonlight, and this measures 4 1/4 by 11. And then another piece that measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and another piece that measures 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Oh, I did forget one housekeeping note, but I'll talk about it afterwards. My bingo event is scheduled for January 23rd at 2 p.m. I have been working on that, so yay. Okay, designer series paper, we're using 2 patterns of the Misty Moonlight. This would be in the in color pack of designer series paper. So the first piece is going to measure 4 by 2 3/4, and the second piece is going to measure 4 by 1 inch. The second pattern of the Misty Moonlight paper, this measures 3 by 3. Okay. Then we have Whisper White, 5 1/4 by 4. Another piece that measures 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. And then this is my scrap for stamping and die cutting. I put a little S on it so I wouldn't confuse this with this one. Yeah, scrap, S for scraps. Okay, so that's all the pieces. And I'll recap that at the end of the video, okay? So now we are going to start with this piece right here. We're going to stamp, but these two, I should say. So I'm going to move these over, give us some room. This is a beautiful color. I love Night of Navy, but I actually like Misty Moonlight even better or more. Okay, we got our donkey here and then our greeting. I'm using Memento ink. I'm missing some lights. Goodness gracious, how did I forget? Here we go. More lights for better viewing. I see hearts, but did I do something? I don't know. Maybe it's a lag in the video. I'm not seeing comments again, so something's going on. Okay, Memento ink. We're stamping the donkey. Then we're going to take Hey There Friend, and we're going to stamp that with Memento ink as well. So we're going to start with the dark crumb cake. And I'm going to color his ears. You could also use the kangaroo for this card. If I had had time, I could have made another one using a different stamp set, but who doesn't love the donkeys? Well, maybe people that don't like animals. Did y'all see the picture I posted of Bella yesterday? I tell you, I squealed when they brought her out with the little pom-poms in her hair. And Brooke did the same thing when I brought her home. We're like, oh my gosh, that's the cutest thing ever. She's 9 years old and no one's ever put pom-poms in her hair. She still has them today because she's so low-key. Like, nothing bothers her. Like, she's such a good puppy. Yeah, so she slept all night with them things in. Even David last night in bed, he was petting her because she's just so dang cute with them pom-poms. Okay, now we're going to switch over to the light. He's smiling at us. Holy smokes, you scared me to death. I'm live. Now I'm gonna take the I looked up and he was standing right across from me. The light smoky slate, and I'm gonna color his hooves. I can't hear worth a crap. I can't see either. So I didn't even hear him come in. Y'all are lucky I didn't scream. Or I'm lucky, I should say. Okay, he is done. Now, we're gonna use, bring it over here, the mini cut and emboss machine. I'm just gonna call it mini. The mini. And we are using one die today, the stitch shape dies. Okay. Whose voice did I just hear? That sounded like my son. Okay, so now I'm going to take the pastel pearls. I have no clue what color this is, but it looks so beautiful with misty moonlight, so that's what we're using. I'm going to take my take your pick tool to add 3 of these. I'm going to start with the first one in the middle and then work my way out so that it's a little easier to center them. Or in my opinion it is. It may not be. And you can put them side by side or you can separate them a bit. But my other one, they're separated. Okay, there's that. Now let's get our Simply Scored scoring tool. And we are going to score this at 5.5 and 8.5. Fold on both score lines. Marlene asked if I flip my plates. I have not yet. Not yet. But, I mean, I've only had it... They are warping, aren't they? I could, but... So, yes, eventually I probably will. Okay, so now we're going to take this Whisper White layer and we're going to add it inside here. So I'm just going to flip this over. My liquid glue is getting very low, so I might run out in this video, but I have more behind me. Elvis and Gizmo are in Brooke's room. Yeah, they were just singing a couple minutes ago. Okay, now we're going to take this piece of Designer Series paper and add it right there. So flip it over. Okay, now this one is going to go here. I wish they had a die for the donkeys too, but I'm okay cutting them out in a circle or a square or an oval, or using any of our dies to cut them out. Sometimes it's easier to not have a die because it takes time to cut it out. So don't get me wrong, I love dies, but okay, here's where we're at so far. Now this is a gift card holder, so it's a fun fold gift card holder. So I'm gonna seal the sides here. You don't have to, you could put another panel here and another panel here, and you could stamp and write lots of words. You could also decorate this panel. I decided to save my Designer Series paper because these only come in 6x6 sheets. It's not like we get an abundance of them. So there I go back to hoarding my paper. But if I were sending this to someone like tomorrow or whatever, maybe I would add that layer. You only want to add a thin line of adhesive because you want to leave enough space to slide your gift card in. So I'm just going to hold that for a second. Okay. Now, this layer is going to go on that. Oh, I just realized I didn't turn my fan off. Sorry, guys. And then this one's going to get attached to the Designer Series paper. And this one's getting attached to the Misty Moonlight. Our greeting is going to go over here, and we're going to add it with a dimensional. Okay, so now when we add this, we want to make sure that we only add adhesive to this side because this card needs to open, okay? So I'm just going to turn this over, add that, and then center this as best I can. I think that looks pretty good. And then hold it for a second. And I'm going to take a little bit of Wink of Stella and give him some shine. Just because. You don't have to. And you could take your smoky slate marker and ground them a little. I'm okay with it not being that way. I'm fine with it not. Yeah. Okay, so it opens up like this. And here is the one I made this morning. So on this one, I separated those a little bit. This one I did not. I think I like them better separated. So here's the gift card. So you can see it slides in and out just like that. We'll make sure it fits on the one I just made. Yep, it does. So stamp your message here, write your message. Just be mindful that when you do that, that this piece does not cover up all of that. So you don't want to write like here and here because it would show through on the front. Pretty cute, right? Oh, I have a question for those of you that are still here. Okay, so I'm going to slide this up for just a minute. So the other night I was labeling my dies. Look how beautiful that looks. And I was like, I'm sitting in my room, I'm by myself, and I'm just labeling. I'm just sitting and labeling. And I thought for just a second that I thought, well, I should just go live and do this while I'm labeling. And then I'm like, maybe they might think I'm nuts. So I didn't. But what I did was I label my envelope that I get from Stamp & Storage. I have an affiliate link that I can send you right directly to these pockets. But I label it up here so that when they're all filed in alphabetical order, I can see it. But then I also labeled the magnet sheet because I take these out often. And yeah, and I put the count of how many dies are in there. So like if one's missing, I'll know because that says I need 13. So I labeled all the pockets the other night, but I didn't label the magnets because I've got to take my retired ones and remove them. I'm not buying new magnets. I reuse them. So I need to I went ahead and made the labels. They're all in here, but I need to label the magnets. So yeah. I guess so my question is that, what do y'all think? Should I go live sometimes when I'm doing that stuff? I never know. Okie doke. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much. And again, thanks for being patient with me yesterday and watching today. Okay. Bye, guys.